Hello. Hello. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys have an amazing day. Hopefully you guys are doing great. Hopefully you guys are having a great one. This is the third time I've said this today. So if you're not already, why the fuck aren't you? You know? Leave me down in the comment section down below. If you're doing great, carry on watching the video. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you get some new nice wisdom. You know, we're going to watch this together, me and you. We're going to enjoy learning. We're going to enjoy becoming wiser. We become better every day. 1% better every single day. You know what I mean? We don't stop. There's no limit to how far we can go. Nietzsche, How to Become Who You Are by Freedom and Thought. You know, I got to keep the viewer attention up, so let's get right into it. There's nothing else that needs to be said, really. You know, but leave down in the comment section down below. If your day's not going so well, tell us why. You know, just like, I got to get the comment. I got to get, like, interactions. You know, interactions are what really matters. That's what teaches algorithms to keep pushing your shit out. You know, and I guess I got to say that's one of my goals. There's a fucking hair on my mic. What the hell? Why the fuck is there a hair right here? Jesus Christ. Let me check. Yeah, no, I think we're doing all right now. You know, I think we're doing okay. You know, and I'm trying to look more into the camera. All right, let's go. Let's go. Okay.
This video was made possible by Shortform.
Okay, I've used that one.
The first 1,000 visitors to use the link in the description will get unlimited access for 5 days and 20% off an annual subscription.
I didn't know there was a subscription for that. I've used Shortform. I used Shortform for a project that did not work at all because I wanted to make an Apex Legends clips channel. Didn't get it off the ground. I wasn't posting enough on TikTok, though. Can't say that I tried my best. I will not lie to you. I didn't try my hardest. I didn't try my hardest to organically grow it. I didn't. Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't that passionate about it, I guess. I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think it was possible. Not as much as this, wherein I would watch these videos normally by myself, but I decided, you know what? Fuck it. Why not make a reaction to, right? Because, why not? Why not? Maybe sometimes I have stuff to say. I have to give my own input. I don't care if nobody asked. Nobody's going to ask. You can't ask me. You're on the other side of a fucking camera. You know, how can you ask? You know, at the start of the video, hey, I have... or, like, right as you hear something in the video, you're going to go down to the comment section and then type out a question. What are your thoughts on blah, 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 blah? Like, of course not. But I'm going to give my opinion anyway. You know, I'm going to give my little 2 cents. Let's go. Oh, shit. Click the wrong thing.
For Nietzsche, becoming who you are leads to greatness. And in Ecce Homo, he wrote, quote,
I believe that, too. I believe it leads to
that
greatness.
one becomes what one is presupposes that one does not have the remotest idea what one is.
So that means if one becomes what one is, presupposes that one does not have the
question
remotest
of how
idea
you become what you are, what one is, presupposes that one does not have the remotest idea what one is.
What does that mean?
The question of how you become what you are begins with the idea that you don't know what you are in the first place.
So it's like that desire thing. It's like that seeking happiness thing. You know, like you sign a contract away when you desire something and you want something. You sign a contract unconsciously, subconsciously, whatever, that you're not going to be happy until you get that thing. So if you're looking for yourself, you're in self-discovery, you're signing a contract that you don't know yourself. And then you're going to accept that fact and until you've... that's the fucked up part about these contracts. Is there's no, like, very defined set of shits. Like, when do you know you're going to be done with a self-discovery journey? Is anybody ever done? You know? Like, and basically you're on this journey and you're telling yourself you're not going to be happy. You're not going to know yourself until you get somewhere that you haven't defined, until you're done. But the journey never finishes when you don't have a definition of where you want to go. Like, self-discovery, that's very vague. It's very broad.
Something that has to be discovered. And by taking the journey towards self-discovery, you're embarking on the journey of a lifetime, while also moving towards your own greatness.
Yes, I believe.
But you're probably wondering, where do I discover myself?
Yeah, where do you?
No one knows where you can find yourself except for you. There are no directions, no signposts, and nobody to follow. You have to follow your instincts. Only you know which direction to take. There are things which naturally attract your attention.
But you're an information processing system, though. Like, there's not much validity to the whole you being you thing. Like, you being you is kind of... just your facticity, though. Like, just shit you picked up. Like, a lot of what your personality is an emulation of something. I mean, I'd like to think that I'm pretty unique. I mean, I'm pretty unique. I never really wanted to fit in. I'd watch other people fit in. I don't know what part of me decided that I didn't really want to fit in that much, that I didn't care that much, that I wasn't worried about that. I don't know what it is. But if I was just emulating everybody else, of course I'd want to fit in, I'd want to do this, I'd listen to the same music as them. Never really give a fuck about that. I don't know why. Like, yes, I'm unique, but a lot of what I like is my facticity. It's just my experiences. It's just what I grew up with. It's my culture. It's my this. It's the shit that I ended up just getting into by pure mere luck and reality and probability. It just happened. You know, a lot of the shit is your facticity. And to say that that you can only rely on your inner shits, well, it's complicated. It's complicated because if you do other people, if you listen too much to other people, if you're only looking on the outside, I mean, there's just a lot of pressure there. A lot of it does have to be intrinsic. I feel it's the safest way to go about it. It's not that it's the most correct way. It's not that it's the truthest way. Like, it's not like I don't know, it's just like, it fucks with my head because I don't see you as just like a stable you. There's no just stability there. Life is not like that. It's all fluid. Life is very fluid. You know? That's the way I see it. Is that there's a lot of fluidity. It's not very rigid and just very robust, like straight up rigid and just stable and static. Like, it's not that. And to think that it is that, and that you're just going to go ahead and ask yourself and introspect in a static way about what my static self wants or believes, it's like, I mean, you could, that's very acceptable. You very well could do that, and it's like, but it's like, you could also just listen to other people's opinions too. You could also listen to their thoughts, listen to their advice, also listen to what maybe other people are doing. You know, like, all you are is an information processing system. The thing that you do have control over is what you're going to choose to emulate, what you're going to choose to intake and be like, I'm going to have this be a flame to my fire. You know, I'm going to have this really integrate with me. I'm going to have this new bit of information and this shit that I've just processed just out the blue, out the random, just recently now. I'm going to process this, and I'm going to allow it to change me. Because I've allowed it to. The thing there is the most important thing is that you're doing it under your conscious want. Whatever that want might come from your facticity as well, but it should be you. It shouldn't be something that you're pressured into doing, something that you feel you must do. It should be like you're choosing what you're gonna you know, allow to stay, what you're gonna allow to go. You know, both from intrinsic and extrinsic, from within and without. You know, I think just making that choice consciously is what I would say is the best. The best. All right, let me shut up. I'm not gonna talk.
And they present you with
8 minutes. Come on,
questions
dog.
you can't help but think about or want answers to. Those questions will lead you towards yourself. Your instincts are the compass which will guide you on your journey. But if I follow my instincts, I know I'll only do things that are bad for me, you say. That's because, as Nietzsche would say, your instincts are corrupted. You're a decadent. A decadent's internal compass is corrupted, and so it leads them in the wrong direction. But you can recalibrate your compass and reclaim your instincts. The question is, are you willing to pay the price? To reclaim your instincts, you must be willing to suffer. Let me explain with an example. As a kid, Raphael always displayed a natural instinct and gift for music, and he had even won many competitions. This led him to believe he was a great musician,
of course,
and he was at the time. But one day, Raphael entered a national competition.
What do you do?
And instead of getting first like he usually did, he ended up in 8th.
That's fucked.
This was the first time Raphael received evidence that he wasn't as good as he thought he was. And how did he respond? He claimed that the competition was rigged, and he vowed to never enter one again. And this moment marked the beginning of Raphael's decline. Staying true to his vow, he never entered another competition again.
I like the fingers pointing.
And in fact, he began avoiding any situation that might show that he wasn't the best musician like he always thought he was. Yet, As he grew older, he spent thousands of hours writing and recording hundreds of original songs in his bedroom, songs which he had never shared with anyone.
Why?
When his friends asked him why, he said it was because he was waiting for the right time.
The right time never comes.
Whenever his friends showed him a popular song that they liked,
Sorry.
he told them about how he was working on one that was even better. Wait until you see what I'm working on, he said. It's way better than that.
Nobody likes that guy.
His friend said.
Yeah,
I will,
show us.
when the time is right, he said back. Sure. Okay, Raphael, they said in disbelief. This disbelief really hurt Raphael, because he perceived it as a challenge to his identity. They're just jealous I'm actually good at something, he thought. And with the intention of proving them wrong, he uploaded all his songs to the internet.
Hey,
he waited. Days, weeks, and months went by.
5 views?
And he barely garnered any engagement. The little engagement he did receive was negative. Commenters said things like, the lyrics are meaningless, or the beat is so boring, or
tough.
Painfully mediocre.
Damn.
That last one really stung Raphael.
Painfully
Mediocre, he thought. They just don't get it. So Raphael decided to show his music to his mom. That way he could watch her reaction in real time and explain any confusing parts. And after he played her his music, she said, "Wow, very nice, honey." And he had heard that phrase one time before, when, as a child, he made her 2 pieces of incredibly burnt toast for Mother's Day. She had took a bite, said, "Wow, very nice, honey," and then, not as secretly as she thought, proceeded to throw both pieces of toast into the trash. But this time, Raphael felt things were different. He was sure that she really did think his music was nice.
Of course, he'd want to believe
So
that.
with a little more confidence now, he gathered his friends together and played them his music. They tried to sit nicely and listen, but by the time the chorus kicked in for the second time...
Tell me somebody's gonna pull a Iggy. Somebody's gonna pull what they did to Iggy Azalea. They're gonna be like, yo, that shit is trash. Get the fuck off the airway. Bro, oh my god, play the clip. That would be so legendary if he played that clip. I would have done that. If I was editing this video, I would have said that is exactly what those guys said. They're gonna be like, man, get the fuck off the airway. That shit is ass. I wish.
They burst out into laughter.
Nah, they're laughing. Nah, that's fuck. Come on.
Raphael...
Why y'all laughing, bro? Just say that shit's ass. Laughing is even worse than saying your shit's ass. If you're laughing, then they suck. Like they're dealing with some stuff too. Like you could just genuinely be honest with somebody and say your shit's ass. It's a bit harsh, but it's like sometimes it's what people need to hear. If you genuinely believe in the most objective way possible, of course you're not gonna be objective. It's impossible. You're always gonna have some type of sort of subjective bias, mingled in there. Like Salt Bae. But to just laugh, though, I mean, there's something wrong with those people. There's something wrong with your friends, too. I mean, your music is probably ass. But your friends are also fucked up. Because they shouldn't be laughing. Like, I would prefer your music's ass than have them ridicule and laugh in my face. Like, I would deadass just smack the fuck out of them. I wouldn't do that. Because I'm not, like, hitting people. I don't like hitting people. I don't like doing that. But, like, I'd want to do that, right? Because it's just like... Don't be laughing, motherfucker. You're not the one. You come up here and play this fucking guitar then. I get I might be, delusional. I get I might be up my own ass. I think that I'm so great. But at least I have the balls to come up here and play guitar. Don't be laughing at me just because my shit's ass. Just tell me my shit's ass. You can do that. I'm here to get your honest opinion. Don't laugh, though. That shit's too much. You're doing too much there.
Stormed off towards his house. They're haters, he thought. Jealous, bitter, and tasteless haters.
Well, that's your consulting firm.
So you're probably wondering why I told you this story. Because I think it encapsulates the behavior of someone who's unwilling to suffer. Raphael had a strong instinct for music as a kid, but every time he was presented with some evidence that contradicted his self-image, evidence that showed he might not be as good as he thought he was, he found a way to dismiss it. He was so attached to the idea of already being a good musician that he never gave himself the chance of actually becoming a better one. He started to avoid any evidence that contradicted the image he had.
Because he believed he was already the greatest, he never tried. He never even thought that he could get better. And that curb stomped his progress. It stumped his progress. He could have actually maybe been great, but because he just thought he was perfect and he didn't have anything else to learn, he didn't. And also, it's hard because he's sort of infused that with his identity. He's infused musician with him. The same thing. You know, they fuse like this. And when you do that, you can have problems. Because it's just not as static as like that. Like, as much as your brain would want to, the way society's set up, you'd want things to be static. You'd want them to be simple. You'd want them to just be rigid and you could hang on to it, you know. But if you did that, you'd be completely, you know, disregarding a complete aspect of life. There is ambiguity. There's absolute ambiguity. And that might cause some tension for a lot of people, most definitely. But you have to just accept it, man. You have to stop being a bitch. Like, you gotta just take that. You gotta take the ambiguity. You have to. I'm sorry. You have to. So many people talk. I don't know where I am on this, but so many people talk about balance and they talk about knowing exactly who you are, sticking to shit. It's like, yeah, it's useful. I can see its usefulness, and I can incorporate that every now and then if I have to. You know, if I deem it necessary, if I can play at it, if that's even possible, because I don't know if it's necessarily possible to play as somebody who sticks by his core, you know, values and principles. Which, I mean, you have principles, like, yeah, like that. I think some things are necessary to stick by, if you choose them. Like, you have to choose your principles, you have to choose your values. You know, that shit's pretty foundational. That's a very different. You should choose those, choose the ones you like. Maybe do some research. Be like, for some odd reason, everything that I've become, whether it was me just processing shit in my environment that wasn't really me, and then making it, and then of course your environment shapes who you are, and then that person who's been shaped by that environment, I can't change that fact, but I'm gonna go ahead and consciously choose, for whatever reason, this feels nice to me. I don't need to question that far. That's too much. That's too much of a question to try to question why that feels. You know, just choose that thing. If it feels good to you, you like it, it resonates with you for whatever reason, choose that thing. Choose that value, choose that principle, and stick by it. Now, those are probably the only things you need to stick by. With everything else, you can be pretty fluid, in my opinion. I think you can be very open-minded, be willing to listen to opposing views. Don't just be that motherfucker who's just so closed-minded. I mean, it's just, you're closing off one side of the ambiguity because there's tension. You're just going to say, oh, I'm just a Democrat. Oh, I'm just a Christian. Oh, I'm just an American. Oh, I'm just not a fisherman. It's just not for me. Music is just not for me. Sports are just not for me. Math is just not for me. Like that, just. So many people just say just as if they know how reality really is. As if they think they have a good grasp on it and it's rigid. And they're just like, it's solid and it's not fluid. And they're just like, well, I have this block of life. Not this fluid of life. This block of life. And I'm going to say, I'm reading just this side of the block. It says, I am just a Democrat. Therefore, I will be with the Democrats, and I will vote Joe Biden, and I will make it my entire personality to just be a diehard Democrat or a diehard Republican, that type of stuff, you know.
Out of himself, and by doing so, his instinct got corrupted. It no longer led him in the right direction. But if he accepted the evidence and realized that he wasn't as good as he thought he was, he could have learned why he wasn't as good as he thought he was. And by learning why he wasn't as good as he thought he was, he could have actually gotten good. In other words, if Raphael was willing to suffer, he could have actually developed his instinct to serve him well. Now the question is, why are some people willing to suffer while others are not? The ones who are willing to suffer have faith that their suffering will pay off. They believe that suffering has meaning and that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. They believe that the source of suffering is false beliefs. And so by being willing to suffer, they can identify the false beliefs they hold. And by identifying their false beliefs, they can destroy them. And by destroying their false beliefs, they can reclaim their instincts and find their way to themselves. And to become who you are is to achieve your own greatness. And it's worth keeping in mind that suffering is distinct from pain.
Are we sure that's what follows?
And they can reclaim their instincts.
So by destroying them, are we sure what directly follows from that is reclaiming instincts? That seems a little... I didn't really understand that much.
Find their way to themselves.
Find a way to themselves.
And to become who you
I mean, yeah.
are is to achieve your own greatness. And it's worth keeping in mind that suffering is distinct from pain. That concludes my exploration of Nietzsche's teaching and
suffering is for, I guess I'm willing to suffer. If that's the way, that's the
homo,
case. I'm willing to suffer.
As always, this is just my opinion and understanding of Nietzsche's teaching, not advice. If you're looking for another video to watch after this one, I recommend watching my video,
right?
Nietzsche.
I think we
Love Your
watched that
Fate,
one already.
Become Great. I'll put a link to it in the description below and in the top right of the screen right now. Do you want to get 10 times more out of the books you read and learn more ideas faster? If your answer is yes, I recommend checking out this week's sponsor, Shortform. Shortform makes the world's best guides to nonfiction books. They're like book summaries.
Okay, I wouldn't say they're the best. They're pretty good, but like, I mean, they're not that good. What? He has a newsletter? Watch me sign up, guys. There you go. Okay. Now we signed up to the newsletter. Let me get that email on my phone. Think I can get that email. Don't you worry, though. So let me know what you guys think, man. What do we got? What do we say? Becoming who you are leads to great. Sorry. Becoming who you are leads to greatness. But you have to know what becoming who you are really means. And you have to know what who you are even means. I mean, there's a lot that you have to know. You have to know what becoming means. You have to know who you are means. You have to know who you are. You have to know a lot of shit and all of that. You know, it's that shit that's already pre-infused in here. Like, go to the core. Go to the root. Realize the language that you're using. The linguistics. It's like, it's all a part of it. You know, the way that you view the language that you use and in the manner that you use it, it makes all the difference. Makes all the difference. Don't know what else to say. It sounded pretty deep what I just said right there, so I'm gonna leave it with that. You know, I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Leave a comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Let me actually leave a like on this guy's video. Shuts out freedom and thought.